Just launch it. That's the theme for today's video. Simple as that. Launch it, get it out of the way, be done with it, learn and improve. And you heard me preaching that approach over many videos. Granted, you watched them, of course. But today I want to take a different perspective at it. Maybe give you an example, some kind of analogy, why I think this is the way to go. But before we go into that kind of area of the video, that section, first, let's talk MVP, which is another fancy word for the theme for this video. When I mean MVP, I mean a minimum viable product. A minimum viable product is effectively the most basic version of whatever you guys building that's ready for the public eye. And the trouble is that people define ready by their own framework of values, by their own principles, and therefore it's subjective. It really is a problem. Because of that, it's so hard to let go. It's so hard to launch with any flaws and any issues, oversights that are there without actually taking any kind of advantage of what else is there that works. The issues almost like overshadow any kind of other good sides to the project or to the product that you've built, that they're so powerful that they make you wait. And remember that if you don't launch it, the value of it to your business equals zero. That's it, zero. It doesn't help with anything, doesn't bring any money, any value. You don't get any feedback, you don't get to learn from it. As long as it sits on the shelf, it's not out there, it's useless. I'm sorry to break it to you. I think people get it the wrong way around. When they define a minimum viable product, and when they think about launching anything, actually, you know what? No, let's take it back. When they think about building anything, just overall, creating something, they think about features, they're thinking about functionality instead of the benefit to the user. Now, have a moment to process that, okay? What I mean is, instead of thinking how you want to travel, you should be asking where do you want to go, and then find tools to get you there. It's a different take, it's a different perspective, but it's so much more valuable. So here comes the analogy. I'll give you two scenarios. One is when you ask for a tool, and the other one was where you ask for the goal, the purpose of it. So here it comes. Let's say you come to me and say, I want a car. Can you build it for me? Now, okay, great. You want a car. Fantastic. So what I will do, I'll first put together probably a wheel. Okay, so there you go. There's a wheel for you. And then you look at me like, okay, but that's far from a car. Nice, but a wheel. But what can I do with it? I can probably, I don't know, lean against it if I'm lucky. But that's it, okay? So then you have to wait for me to provide you with chassis, right? For example, so there you go. You have a wheel, or hopefully 4 wheels by now, and a chassis. And then you look at it and like, okay, that's a nice beach towel, but you probably won't use it for travel much. It's useless, okay? Still. And then the process goes on, and I keep adding things. Then I'll probably add the body, and then I'll probably add the engine, and then time flies. You still can't travel. No, you're still waiting for that car. Then we need, some security checks and windows and probably seats inside, and it goes on and on and on and on. And I know, yes, you can go into a dealer and just buy a ready car, but for the sake of example, imagine I'm building a car for you and I have to think of every single element on the way to having a completed car. Keep in mind, from the moment we start working on that car, that wheel, chassis, body, etc., to the point where you can actually drive it, you can't travel. You're in the same position where you were when we started that project. You literally have no value from my help for the duration of that car manufacturing process. You wait until it's done, and only then, granted you're happy with it and have no complaints, I watch you, then you can use it to actually travel and be happy about it. That's one way to go, okay? Now, second approach is where you actually come to me and say, Thomas, I need something to move faster. I need something to travel. And then I might be like, okay, great. So let's start simple. Here's a skateboard. And you're like, okay, thanks. Well, assuming I can learn how to use it, it's something, right? I can travel. And then you travel on it. At least you can go for a milk to a closest convenience store, or you can go visit friends next door. Great. But then you come to me another time and you say, Thomas, you know what? It's fantastic, but actually my school is a bit couple of miles away and the skateboard is a bit, I'm a bit tired when I use it. So then I might think, okay, great. So if you want to travel farther, well, you probably need some help. So how about an electric engine for that skateboard, or maybe some kind of pole that you can hold on to keep stable, to not get tired so quickly. Fantastic. There you go. Okay, fixed. You travel around, you go to school, you go to maybe friends who live a bit further in the field, and then from that experience you learn that you know what, actually I would like to travel to another city who's 30 miles away. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then how about we upgrade that skateboard with the engine or that kind of, scooter, right, to a moped? Isn't that good? So do you see the pattern here? I'm literally, what I'm getting is, maybe by the time we're done with that reiteration, that improvement, you won't even need the car. By the time we get to the end, you've got to use it, you've got to benefit from it, you've got to learn about your preferences, you've got to give the feedback back to me so I can action that feedback and provide you with a better solution. Whereas with the car, you would just wait, you would get a car eventually, but by the time you get there, you maybe change the taste. Maybe a new brand came up to your liking and you don't want that car anymore, you want a different one. And many things could have happened on the way while you waited, whereas the alternative view, just use that skateboard, then use that moped or scooter, and then maybe eventually upgrade to a bike to travel, across the country. Or maybe, 3-4 months down the line, you have a baby and all of a sudden, actually you need that car because you need extra seat, you need to travel safely, etc. So there's a difference. There really is the difference. So in the second scenario where the skateboard, that's MVP. The skateboard is MVP. It's like the foundation for your ultimate goal. It's like one step towards that ultimate goal, but then as we proceed, as we learn, as we develop and evolve that idea, the end goal might slightly change or might get discarded entirely depending on your experience as you go. This been our approach to websites, and that gets me to the subject of the video. Does MVP work for websites? So what if you just launched it? An MVP for a website is effectively the core of it. It's the main framework that solves your biggest challenge. You can imagine a company that is a SaaS company and they live off those leads from the website. They need to book a demo with their users to keep their sales pipeline full and to actually keep selling, keep earning that revenue and keep growing. That is the main challenge. How do we increase the volume of booked demos or keep it a constant or keep it at a certain level that they gauged themselves? That is the challenge that an MVP would solve for you. So in that scenario, I would probably launch a website with the minimum information that the user needs to understand the offering, the benefits, fight off any doubts so that they feel confident to book a demo. And you don't need all those pages that you've planned in the sitemap. You don't have to have page about press releases, reports, sustainability, investors. You don't need all that crap for people to believe in your product. If your product is good enough and if you do a good job to introduce that product to those website visitors, you only need a few screens really to help them make a decision that's right for your business. For example, you could have a strong, unique value proposition above the fold. So when they land, they instantly know what you do and how you help them. Then below the fold, you could have like main benefits of using your products. And then you can follow up with some kind of transitional CTA to build that credibility. It could be some kind of article, some kind of mention in the press, just one-off, or maybe reviews page. Like it depends who is your target. You would probably want to test it before you make a decision what's part of the MVP of the website. But the bottom line is, and what I'm really getting at, is that MVP solves the challenge and everything else around it is a noise. And that noise we can build on top of the MVP later. But while you wait for the rest, the MVP helps you. As simple as that. You get to benefit from that MVP right away. And frankly, if you decide to work with us, we build MVPs in around 3-4 weeks tops. And that is from knowing nothing about you to launching an MVP. The whole thing. So imagine in 4 weeks, you can have a website that solves your biggest marketing problem, generate leads for you, make your sales department happy, and then in the background, we keep improving as we learn from the live traffic. I mean, this is just brilliant. But that's it. That's all I had to say. I hope that analogy made sense. I wonder where you are with this. Where do you sit with those analogies and those different approaches to building products? Would you rather order a whole thing up front with a fixed scope, fixed timeline, fixed budget, and wait for it to be completed entirely sometime in the future? Or would you rather incrementally build a product and use it as you go, tweak it as you go, learn from it as you go, and perhaps allow yourself to change preferences because the product does so much more for you than you thought? I don't know. It's a different take. We love the second one, obviously, at Nerdcow. We're an agile agency after all. But you might think differently. Do let me know in the comments. And for now, that's all from me. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.